We go over everything AR in this episode, from where is AR going to how to get into the field, and even some of the negative aspects that might come from it. This is a great episode. I hope you're ready to learn a lot. Enjoy.
This is the XR Motion Podcast with your hosts, Michael Steinberg and Andrew Ho.
Well, today we have with us, and we're going to jump right into it because I'm just too excited. For anybody looking on video mode right now, you'll see why I'm excited, because this is probably one of the coolest guests we've had on. Today we have Hafid Reyes. Was that good? Did I get the last name right?
You got the R. That's the most important one.
Okay. Well, I am so excited to have you on, man. I've been seeing your work for a while. You've got some of the best AR work I feel like I've seen around town. So I'm just amped to jump in it with you. But before we get into all that, just how you doing, man? What's been going on?
Oh, man, it's been crazy. I mean, you just moved to New York. You said that the best in town, but I just moved in. And I mean, I got the warmest welcome by going to one of the meetings that you guys have on Wednesdays for the XR Motion group. So I'm set. I'm ready to go. I mean, it's month 3. I'm still here. So let's keep it going.
That's what's up. Yeah, it is fun. The meetups are great. You know, we met, I think it was, 3 months ago, right? That's when you said you got here. It was right when you got here.
Yeah.
Yeah. And for anybody wondering, we do meetups. I'm sure everybody's heard this before, but it's at Dromedary, second Wednesday of each month. Come check it out, because this is how you meet, just amazing, talented artists. So, but with that, I want to ask you, just for anybody who hasn't seen your work yet and isn't looking at video mode right now, can you just give a brief description of exactly what you do and like how you describe your day-to-day in the profession?
For sure. Yeah. Let's just keep my title as an artist. So I'm just a digital artist. I work all kinds of 3D modeling programs, so kind of softwares. But my day-to-day looks basically, I know you can't see it right now, but I have this digital mask on because lately I've been focusing on augmented reality, on extended reality per se, and everything digital, everything that comes with video games. I'm all about it. All the futuristic cyberpunk ideas that you have seen. It's happening now. We are in the future now. So, I mean, if you see me right now in camera, this is live. But my goal is like when we have the glasses on, you can see me on the street, like with the AR glasses, and we're going to take it from there. So, yeah, my day-to-day looks like either me wearing digital masks or wearing digital and making digital clothes and everything that it takes to make it.
That's what's up. Yeah, I still can't get over how good your mask looks, and also how it's really tracking super well. Like it's not, I've seen full, like I've seen the whole vlogging thing where everything is 3D, but just to have an AR tracking that good. I mean, before I want to jump into kind of your process and everything here, but before that, like what program are you even using to do this? This is so cool.
Thank you. Yeah, this is an application called Filta, Filta. And we're using Unity to create the augmented reality experience. So we're using also Apple's AR Kit. So the same technology that comes for like the memojis that you get on the iPhones. The depth sensor is the one that's giving you right now the crispiest of the tracking. Same that you used to open up your iPhone to unlock it. It's the same one, but it's this depth sensor that only the iPhones have. They just make this like run like up to 60 frames per second, like in comparison to, I don't know, 24, 30 of like just normal tracking without the sensor.
Interesting. I was wondering if I could do it on a PC. So yeah, I guess you have to have an iPhone to use the software. That's interesting. That's very interesting.
Yes and no. Right now, I'm running it through my iPhone, and you're seeing actually a screencast of my phone. But they have a webcam app, and you can use it on any webcam. It's not going to be the same quality tracking, but I wanted to show you like the best.
No, I mean it's like shockingly good. It's hard to really describe because I feel like you see face filters on Zoom all the time,
Yeah.
and even on just like Instagram. But it's just, I guess it also has a little bit of a unique factor to it, just being on a webcam like this.
Hmm.
I definitely have never seen it to this quality before. That's awesome. Um,
Nice.
I guess one thing I always like to ask any artist that is moving, which I myself am about to move, not necessarily out of New York. I'm just moving from Bushwick to East Rockaway, so not a huge leap. I'm still not. My life's not really changing too much in regard to work. But for yourself, I find it always fascinating because my life changed a lot when I moved from Charlotte to New York. And I know moving from state to state, it can just be, whew, it's a lot. I guess, what was your life like before New York? And then what
Mhm.
kind of made you pull the trigger on coming out here? Was it just for fun, or was it more the technology and the industry, or maybe both?
Yeah, it was a mixture of both. So starting with Texas, so that's where I'm coming from. I graduated university like as soon as the pandemic hit. So I think on March of 2020, like that's when I think it hit, and that's when,
Hmm.
yeah, like I didn't have a graduation like the months after because COVID happened. So like it was right when it started hitting. I couldn't do any projects and stuff like that. So I graduated, that passed. I moved back home because everything was crazy.
Right.
But to my luck, like I was already immersed into this digital presence, into this digital persona. Um,
Mm.
and it wasn't too bad for me because even though we were like staying at home, I was a master of like having virtual meetings and like meeting people online and doing pretty much everything digital in 3D. So it wasn't that bad. So for those next 2 years, I was just like learning new programs, learning new skills. I had the time that I didn't like back in college to like hit those
Mm.
personal projects and like watch that tutorial and like read that documentation. So yeah, those next 2 years were actually me just preparing for everything else. And
Wow.
I pulled the trigger. Yeah, like 3 months now, 3 months ago. I was just tired of Texas, honestly. I was there for like 10 years, and
Jeez. Right.
I just didn't go out that much like right after college because I was like in this like whole self-development trip. I still am. But now I was too isolated there. Like as much I appreciate like my digital presence and everything that I do, I need to see more people. And
Mm.
I mean, New York, I visited New York a couple times. I have some friends in here, and I mean, it might be like I've been describing it to my family and my friends as like this is like a hard map. Like if we're playing a video game, it's like the
Mhm.
hard section, like 3-4 stars kind of stuff. But yeah, I mean, like you said, it's hard. The first
Yeah.
months were actually like pretty smooth, so
Mm.
it's barely hitting me now. It's barely
Right.
hitting me. So yeah, but we're getting there. We're getting there.
Yeah. I mean, the first year or two, I feel like can get a little bit difficult because you're still making, oh, who's the long term friends, and then when like who's the long term clients,
Yeah.
what's normal. It takes a minute to develop, especially here. Where's my favorite bodega spot? These are crucial.
Mhm.
So it sounds like, maybe I'm wrong. Did you go to college for AR?
I did not. So I went to the College of Arts, Technology, and Emerging Communication.
Mm.
This was in Texas and Dallas, the University of Texas. So it was definitely more. It was like a generalist degree. Now that I think about it,
Mm.
you could focus on whichever area you wanted to, but the whole degree was for you to experiment anything that you wanted. I
Nice.
started I started as a mechanical engineer actually, and that went down the drain like pretty fast. It was just not as hands-on as I thought it would be. Like I was just like, let me
Mm.
just work with robots and machines, and I did a lot of engineering classes in high school, but it's not the same. It's just
Wow.
not the same.
And now look at you. You are a robot in a
Now
machine.
I'm a robot, so yeah, we're back at it.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, well that's awesome. That's awesome. So, that's cool. Well, one thing. So I just want to kind of jump into, um, a little bit more of the AR field.
Mhm.
So, what kind of got you? Just want to hear a little bit more about what got you into AR, just so we can kind of develop
Mm.
where you think it's going and what has you currently inspired in the field.
Gotcha. Yeah, I think it was definitely a transition from offline rendering. For those who don't know, offline rendering is like when you like movies and VFX and anything 3D that you make, people usually let their computers like overnight or like a weeks long, sometimes months long, just to process your 3D creation. Um, I didn't have the resources back then, or the time, or the patience to wait for my creations to see them at least on a video format.
Mm,
So then I started like experimenting with real time and like video game engines like Unreal Engine, like you're using now, and Unity. And I was like, okay, this is a bit better. I can deal with this. I don't have to wait like 10 minutes just to see a small change in my work. Uh, and then ultimately it was augmented reality, because now you have more interactable experience. Like the 3D work that you create, people not can not only see it in real time, but also like play with it. And I think that's what I was looking for from day one. So
yeah.
that's how I got it.
I love that. I love that. So, with you said you were using Unity as part of the rendering process,
Mhm.
uh, and then you just also mentioned Unreal Engine. What kind of had you using Unreal Engine, or what had you using Unity versus Unreal Engine for your current setup?
Yeah, I started with Unreal Engine just to render my 3D works faster,
Mm,
like environments. I did like a lot of digital fashion shows and just like mini films, and that was the best. It wasn't as good when it comes to like glass and like certain materials, because it's you just need more calculations. But I
right.
started just like doing like general 3D motion graphics and everything 3D, just rendering it in Unreal Engine. It was way faster.
Mm,
For Unity is what I'm using right now for the AR. It's a similar. They're pretty much the same programs, but like I just use Unity. I guess for more for development of experiences of AR, and Unreal more for like super fast renderings, basically.
okay, like for more production work, essentially.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay. So what kind of, I've seen here, on some of your work too, that
Mhm.
you've had some work with the Fortune magazine cover, and I've
Ah.
seen some of your amazing client work. Can you just tell me about some of your client projects? Because
Mhm,
I feel like when it comes to AR, that a lot of people maybe view it as just a filter right now, but it's
mhm.
cool looking at your work and seeing it done so professionally and working with these big names. Can you just enlighten us a little bit about what it's like working with these big companies and using AR to kind of just everything from, executing, getting what they want and hearing what they want and then executing their vision?
Definitely. They are separate though. The Fortune magazine was not AR. That was more
Okay.
like the motion graphics 3D work that I did. But that one is also. I mean, we can quickly talk about it because that's how I got into Web3. Um,
Yeah, absolutely.
but let me tell you first about the companies, and then we can go into Web3 because it's a long one.
That sounds great.
So the AR stuff, mainly I've been working for marketing purposes. Of like, I did this work for Christie's, and they were auctioning like this fossil of this dinosaur. I don't think it's in my profile actually. I need to update it.
Mm,
But they were promoting the auction of this like specimen, and they just wanted like an AR experience. So I created an Instagram filter for them, just like for marketing purposes. And they loved it because it's a new audience, it's a new medium. They love it. There was also they were gonna auction. They auctioned like what's the Maryland, the blue Maryland by I forgot his name. The guy with the short hair and like silver balloons. Um,
the big balloon sculptures around New York City.
not those. Man, I forgot his name. He painted the Marilyn Monroe. It's like a really famous painting.
Oh,
Um,
oh, Not Andy Warhol.
Yeah, Andy Warhol. Yeah. So
Wow.
Andy Warhol.
Wow. Okay.
So they were auctioning one of like his paintings, and they also wanted an AR experience. So I did that for them as well. Again, it's not on my Instagram. I've been really bad at like updating my portfolio.
It's one of the hardest parts of the job.
Yeah. Yeah, but for companies in regards to that, like if it stays inside of social media, it's like an easy way to sell it to them. But after that, I've been focusing more on taking it out of social media. For example, in web AR. So web AR is just like not depending on any application at all, because sometimes their audience, their customers, they don't have Instagram, they don't have Snapchat. So you have to make the experience like accessible in all devices, and that's when you use AR. That's what I'm using right now to like activate flyers, activate like magazines and the small products, just that kind of stuff.
Yeah, the activation stuff is really cool. I've seen some things online, where people are using logos as an activation, almost as if though it was a QR code, and you think you're taking a picture and bam, animations are flying off of the t-shirt logo or the hat design. It's so cool. What kind of programs are being used to accomplish that?
Yeah, so there's the two main ones. Like I mentioned, you can have AR experiences on social media, and each social media has its own software. So Instagram has Meta Spark, Snapchat has Lens Studio, TikTok has Effect House, and again, those only create experiences for those applications. What I'm using right now is one called My Web AR. That is one program that runs on the browser, and yeah, it runs on the browser and the experience runs on your device. The other one that I'm learning is a bit more complicated is 8Wall. Niantic actually bought 8Wall like a couple of months ago, and that's the other one. I say that one is kind of hard because that one actually doesn't have an interface. It's all like code based. So it's kind of hard to get into it. And you need to like move code from one place to another to add features, and it's not as friendly as like the programs that we use to create 3D stuff or Photoshop and stuff.
So what are the benefits of using that program?
8Wall, it's like super powerful. It's like, think of it as like the Houdini of 3D. Like it has everything you might need, but it's just so hard to that level. But once you get into the code, I mean, it's just like copying things here and there. But some advanced features can get pretty hefty.
Man, that's crazy. Yeah, because it's interesting because anytime I think you ask anybody about AR, their initial thought isn't even necessarily applications that could be used in like an XR or in a practical day-to-day use. It's again usually maybe more towards the filter route, and so there's just a whole world of ways that AR can be used, and I think that's going to be the thing in 5 years. I honestly do believe filters will be maybe only 5% of when AR is being used in people's day-to-day lives. But I'm interested to dive more into that a little bit later. But I want to hear just really quick because I want to keep staying on track with AR, but you did mention Unreal Engine, and I know you said you were working with clients with that. Can you just give us maybe some of your thoughts on Unreal Engine? When do you use Unreal Engine? And we'll say that for now, but I also want to ask a little bit later if you think Unreal Engine is good for AR, or if you are using it for it, and what's your thoughts in that realm?
I haven't seen actually much AR with Unreal Engine. That's why I've been sticking with Unity. I know there's some templates and stuff like that. I just haven't seen many applications for it, but I know they're out there.
Yeah.
For clients, what I've been using Unreal Engine for clients is just the motion graphics, the digital fashion renders. They love it because it's real time. Like I can literally just like screencast my window, and we can make the changes in real time. And pretty much what they see on screen is what they're gonna get. So it's not like, oh, let me move here a little bit, let it render for a couple seconds. Oh, it doesn't look like the quality. It looks all like pixelated. No, that's not going to be the final. And it's like, it's just a lot of friction. With the Unreal Engine, it's super smooth. Like they even are like eager to like, oh, they want to try it on and like move the things themselves, which is what I love the most. But yeah,
are they able to do that, or is it kind of like, is that
no,
something where you're still controlling it all?
no, I have to. I don't want them to take control yet, but it could, in a good partnership, you just give them control of your mouse, and they can try it on. But
Yeah.
yeah, that's what they love, just like that real time goodness, and pretty much that's what the final is going to look like, and they love it. So
That's amazing. So with some of the work that you're doing in your digital art design stuff, which is just fantastic, are you with the modeling? Is that something where you're just getting assets off maybe Turbo Squid, or is that something you're
mhm.
modeling? Or and with the fashion stuff, are you working with other artists? What's kind of your process? Because as well as how good the AR tracking is and how good these renders are, the designs of everything are just so fun.
Yeah, yeah. All the above, everything that you mentioned. So it's a combination of my modeling, of getting the assets online, which some people might be like, oh, well, you're not doing it yourself. Well, you're still buying for assets, and you need to know, well, what to buy. Not all of
Yeah.
them work. You need to know what you need. So yeah, that's also like something that you need to know. And also working with artists that they already have the model and they don't have any AR experience. That's when I come in as well. Um,
Mm.
if you give me a second, I can switch real quick to a character, so I can
Yeah.
show you.
Excited for this grand reveal.
Okay, there we go.
Whoa. And the mouth moves.
Oh
That
yeah.
is, wow.
So
That is
these are.
wild.
Thank you, thank you. So these are a project from a Web3 industry, let's just call it. I mean, Nike just bought them. Maybe people are gonna hear about them, but these are called the Clone X. And
Okay.
these characters, so people who buy into the project, they give them the files, so they can put them in the metaverse and do whatever they wanted. So the files are ready. The only thing that they needed me to do is connect it into AR. In this example, Filta is the perfect application for them to do it. So
Mm.
they just send me the files, textures are ready. All I have to do is like rig it and prepare it for Filta, and that's it. They can use it like just like we are right now.
Wow. What are you doing your rigging through? Is that kind of like automated, or do you have
Yeah, so the
by
AR
hand?
kit comes with phase blend shapes. So all I have to do is program those into Filter. So yeah, there is no bones. It's just like blend shapes. Everything's driven by blend shapes.
Blend shapes. Okay.
Mhm.
And so those blend shapes are not baked, I guess, but when you get them, they're already made, or is that again kind of automated through what was the program called again?
Filter,
Filta. I'm gonna
Filter,
type. Because
Filta. Mhm.
I'm working on this silly little animation. It's SpongeBob tripping on acid.
Oh yes, with
And
the three eyes. Yeah.
yeah, it's super fun. But
Mhm.
man, and like even the blend shapes I have down. But I was just thinking, one thing I want to do is I want to train an AI voice, and that's SpongeBob. And then I can just pump out a bunch of these like really funny SpongeBob talking. But I haven't figured out a way to automate the mouth. And I'm just blown away right now that you're having just perfect mouth tracking live in HD quality. So, I mean, is that something where I don't know if that would does Filta only work through AR, or is that something that you've connected into other programs like Blender or Unreal and were able to
Mm.
record data out of that?
You can definitely do it through Blender. So the important thing is that the blend shapes. So the blend shapes is just a way of like you say, kind of like baking the information. Let's say that
Mm,
the neutral pose is just like the face, like mouth closed. One blend
okay.
shape would be like the mouth open. So the thing here that's making all the trick again is the Apple's face tracking technology. So it's this character has a mouth open. The sensor, the Apple AR kit is gonna detect that the mouth is open and it's gonna animate it. So the blend shapes themselves, it's just like a tactic across 3D worlds. But like what's
Wow.
making it real time is Apple's technology, it's Unity, and it's Filter. But blend shapes you can have anywhere, like Blender, Cinema 4D, Unreal.
Right.
Hmm.
Right. Man, that looks great. It looks great. So, Yeah, it's something I need to figure out. I've never done kind of the live mouth tracking animation stuff, so I'm hyper curious on it. I'll probably be sending you messages this week to
Oh yeah, yeah,
picking your
please do.
brain on
Yeah, yeah.
it.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah, no, I'm amped about that. We're talking about AR so much. I just kind of want to blend in and keep going on track with where we're already going.
Okay.
Um, with AR, where do you kind of see some of these next breakthroughs happening? Like where do you see this road going and looking like in the next 3 to 5 years?
3 to 5. Well, next year Apple's gonna release their headset. It's gonna be
Yeah.
very new. Us, like maybe the enthusiasts, are gonna get it. Similar to what the Meta Pro Quest, the
Mm-hmm.
newest one came out. Like only the people that are really into it, they're gonna get it and start developing and building these experiences. But probably like by year 5, we're gonna see more of like a consumer-based headset, and AR is gonna be everywhere, everywhere. Like I see AR. Basically, all of the apps that you have in your phone, they're all gonna be there's gonna be an AR version of them. That's how I see it.
Mm.
Everywhere we look at, we can activate an experience. Like even now, like I think just like the maps, like finding directions, just at least walking. Like point your phone, it looks at the buildings, it gives you like a huge augmented reality arrow to where to go. Small things like that, like shopping inside of a store, outside of a store, like they did with Zero10. It's gonna be everywhere. I think what I'm mostly concerned is like to make sure that uh, it's not gonna be on our faces all the time. So because yeah, it is gonna explode. It is gonna be everywhere.
Yeah. So do you think that the biggest, and maybe it's equal, but the biggest bottleneck right now is the hardware or the software?
I would say the hardware. It's just a device that it needs to run on.
Mm.
At least for these like high quality experiences, because we're not developing our phones to run augmented reality. Apple is. They've been working on it, but not every device is prepared. So we either need to create software that it's compatible with a lot of devices and optimizes it, or just have like a device that can run everything. I'm not really sure about those. Yeah.
Mm. Um, where do you kind of see like immersive storytelling coming into play with the next wave of AR?
There's this company called Amuse. They also use Unity and AR. So it's basically they're trying to mix music with AR. So listening to a song and then looking, yeah, you're at the park and this like AR experience just comes out, like the whole album. I don't know if you saw like Daft Punk's new album came out, and there's like a Snapchat filter that activates the cover, right? So just going beyond that, not only like seeing like a cool thing flying, but like a whole experience. You're like immersed in this whole like AR movie per se, this AR chapter. I think that's where it's gonna make it even more interactive.
Yeah, I definitely see music and concerts having a big play into it. I mean, imagine if you could just go into, it'd be cool if parks became a hot spot for AR just because you'd have all of this room to
Mm-hmm.
experiment with things. If you wanted to have this AR, yeah, virtual concert that you're in, or there's a music video that you get to dive right into. You're going to want to walk around a little bit, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, parks get even more crazy and more fun. That would be really
Yeah,
uh,
just like it did with Pokemon Go, like it literally brought so many people to these public spaces. I think it's gonna be the same way. And also, have you tried like silent disco before? Like the concept of
yeah,
I think it's gonna be very
so fun.
similar. So like you see people dancing of like with their headphones, it's like what are they listening to? But now it's gonna be with the glasses, like what are they watching? There's nothing there. Similar.
Wow. I love that. I was just going to ask, how do you see this affecting social experiences with other people? But that would be so fun. How
Yeah.
funny would that be? Just having groups of people going out and experiencing the same thing. Because it's so much better. I don't even care. You go to a movie. you don't need to have a person next to you, you know what I mean? But it
Yeah.
makes it so much better just doing it with other people. Anything,
Mm-hmm.
listening to music in the car. That's so fun. I love that. Guarantee that will be something that happens. So besides music and that genre, do you have any other ideas, or what's something that if you had maybe $1 million to start your own project over the course of a 5 year, or more than $1 million, let's just say you had almost unlimited cash,
Mm-hmm.
what do you think, what would you want to do to kind of help move the needle with AR?
Similar to Pokemon Go, like video games, just gamifying, creating a cool game, a cool social experience. So probably like I don't want to like put it, like Instagram and the current ones that we have, but like the next level, the next thing of like social interactions, like because yeah, we can have it
Mm,
online, but if we can have some sort of like AR social game that makes us go out and not only like, oh yeah, let me see you pass by, but like we're doing activities together in person. Like that's part of the game. That's part of the application. Um,
wow.
yeah, I feel like something like that will be really cool.
Yeah. I mean, I could see, this sounds terrible, but if everybody was playing a game and it was a 24/7 AR game, and
Mm,
maybe based on the phone in your pocket is what signified you, like if there was even a faction game or teams like red versus blue, but
mm-hmm.
it's just, based on if you have it in your pocket or not. And it's just everybody's playing it. And whenever you jump into the game, you can see this whole other universe with people that are
Yes,
playing it, or
exactly.
maybe it's even like a spy game or something where there's spies and regular people, and yet you don't even know, but other people are just jumping into your game that you didn't
Mm-hmm.
even think about because of geolocation. That'd be sick.
That's the
Man,
dream. Yeah, that's the
there
dream.
really is so much fun stuff you can do with AR, and just
Mm-hmm.
bringing you into this multi-universe that's just where other people can be whatever they want, you can be whatever you want, and you're well. So what let's talk about maybe some of the dangers of AR. I don't know what those could honestly look like too much, besides
Mm,
there's sometimes a lack of, just like World of Warcraft, people can get maybe too obsessed and maybe lose their identity a little bit.
mm.
Maybe some people would disagree with that. That would be one of my big fears, is people just not being able to cope with, or not finding a sense of themselves and losing that.
Mm.
What would maybe be some fears of yours when it comes to AR?
Yeah, I have a couple. Let me change real quick.
Yeah. Oh, we're getting a new avatar here. So if you're
Yeah,
not watching Spotify, if you're on Spotify or watching this on YouTube, you can see what I'm excited. We're getting a grand reveal here in a second.
there we go.
Yo, that is sick. I love that.
Especially if they have like a different voice, right? So some of the dangers, and let me know if you cannot understand me well because it doesn't do too well with
I
accents. But
I can understand you. Yeah,
okay, okay. uh, yeah, I
that's so
mean,
crazy.
I mean, just like this experience you're having right now, yeah, it is kind of forced because I'm not giving you any sort of like warning. Well, I kind of did, but like you didn't know what was going to happen. Like I could
Mm-hmm.
sound and look whatever I want, but we can always just like make filters. Like a lot of these experiences have like security and wellness parts of
Mm,
the company that they worry about this of like people cannot come up to you too close. Like you make like a virtual bubble and like nobody can get inside of your virtual bubble. You can tone down. For example, there was this one game where people that have arachnophobia. You basically make the bottle look like a blob, so you take off the like those like details. So we are gonna have control still of how you want to have this experience. Even if people want
mm,
to express themselves of like, I want people to see me with this mask, but if they are too scared from it, like it might just show something cuter, like we're still gonna have such kind of things.
You're right. I mean, honestly, maybe people they'll have the control to, on what they want people to look like. That's too funny. I love that idea. Just everybody's a bunny rabbit or something that would
Yeah,
be, or
yeah,
an
yeah.
alien, or, Carolina Panther fans, that they don't really exist, but that's awesome. So one thing I want to ask about, what is your thoughts on AR in the education space?
Yeah, I think it would actually be more of what they call MR, so mixed reality. AR is more like reacting to the world that we have. So yeah, maybe they're reading a textbook. There's like a online presentation or something, and they can see just um, things flying out from those images. Mixed reality will be more of like, oh, we can actually interact with some physical objects, and that will also display some kind of like augmented reality. So, I mean, for schools, that I wish I'd had that back then to like learn more. I'm such a visual person. A lot of us are. Like
Same.
a lot of the
Yep.
math and the science and the experiments and like history, geography, just like pulling out all these like huge experiences for you to just like learn and have more immersive learning. Yeah, I think it's gonna be huge for them.
Yeah. No, I can't agree more. I'm a massive visual learner, and yeah, that would have been a huge help back in the day. And
Yeah,
hopefully it will be in the future.
I think so. Yeah.
In your view, how might the fusion of AI and AR redefine the artistic landscape in the future?
Yeah, I mean, we already see how AI is changing, pretty much everything from we started with images, now we're going with video. Uh yeah, it's gonna change a lot of things. But once you connect it with AR, I think it's gonna be a trippy experience. Like similar to what I told you of like the music. Like you're gonna have this AR track the world, but then you're gonna have AI create the imagery, create the video. I think it's literally gonna be like a trip. Like AI has like you already see the images that AI creates. So having that in real time on your eyes, it is going to
Mm,
be a trip. I mean, it's going to be a beautiful one. It's going to be whatever people create, but the artists are just going to have now like full control of like just creating their ideas. Like, because right now we have like a lot of technical difficulties of like, oh, which medium to use, which program to use. But if you just let AI do all like the work and the visual aspect of things, I think
mhm.
your ideas are going to become even more valuable now than ever. Like artists are just going to love creating because you still want to know how to use AI properly, but a lot of the things are going to become easier for artists, I believe.
Mm. So, do you know of any people using AI currently in the AR space, or is that something that's maybe you've seen hints of, but not fully in development?
Hints of, not fully in development. Yeah, because you
Mm.
do have to run it real time because it's AR.
Right.
So a lot of like the programs that we see, like they have to process the image. So once the processing gets to real time, yeah, you're gonna see me doing it too. But I haven't seen it. I haven't seen too many developments of it yet. Yeah.
Mm. And how do you, so talking about artists, have you seen any NFTs being used in this space? Like, or is there a market there for that? I know you mentioned digital clothes. Is that something where people have been using NFTs to also attach to that, um, kind of people who buy that type of digital wear?
For AR or AI.
For AR.
Oh, AR. Yeah, so actually Filta, it is NFT face filter marketplace. That's what they call it. So all of
Mm.
these are already wearables. If you do not own it in your wallet, you cannot use it. You can obviously like try it on,
Oh,
but yeah,
really?
yeah, this is already attached to NFTs. So you log in with your wallet. I mean the clones people, whatever they already have in their wallet, they have this wearable and then they can use it on their streams. So that's one of them that's already doing it.
That's super cool. Now, is that something where, so how does the wallet connect to is Filta the app, or how
Mm-hmm.
would they? Okay, so can you just kind of explain that process of how you'd maybe the ecosystem is developed there between the artist making the art, uploading the art, and then the buyer buying the wardrobe?
Yeah. Okay. So from the buyer perspective, you download a wallet. If you already have it, it's just like an application, and then you download the Filter app, and all you do is connect your wallet, and that's already your account. So you can go to Filter, purchase all of these wearables, and then you own them, and then you can use them. If you don't want it anymore, you can resell it because it's an NFT, right? From the
Mm.
creator perspective, we use Unity. So you download Unity, you download and install the Filter plugin, and once you finalize your creation, you upload it to the app. You have to mint it through the website to make it an NFT. So right now they support Ethereum or Polygon. They can obviously add more chains, but those are the main ones right now. So you mint it, and then you put it for sale, and it goes straight to the app. So people can either purchase it, or you can send it to them, whatever you want to do.
Wow, that's cool. Now, I think one of the last things I wanted to talk about, the two things I wanted to go over was social media and as well as retail. But for the first question, I guess, how do you see social media being impacted with this technology?
With AR, like we mentioned at the beginning, we already saw how the filters, how people see filters. Like it used to be just like makeup, right? Or
Mm-hmm.
like changing your face features, maybe like a meme on TikTok, some like a cool effect to make like a dance off. But now that like more artists are getting involved in it as the technology gets better, and you can get like higher fidelity just in anything you want, like clothes, mask, wearables. Like retail is getting into it because the technology is getting better. There is going to be a huge change. I mean, I'm already witnessing this change with my own work of people sometimes hesitating to buy something that's going to be truly digital. They're
Mm.
like, well, filters are free. Like, why do I have to buy your stuff? Like, and then you have to explain, well, it's the blockchain, it's higher quality. So there's going to be like a lot of friction between um, like the newer advancements on social media. So that's the first one that I can think
Mm.
of. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I'm very excited to see how social media plays out. I think it's got a lot of room for just, it kind of opens up the door. I've said this several times on the podcast, but you look at the phone and it really is just so tiny in reality, And if you were able to open up the space around you into seeing people's stories or artwork, sharing pictures, it's going to be very interesting. So,
Yeah,
um,
memories, everything you want. Like you said, well, on the phone factor, we're gonna get like AR is gonna be so demanding that eventually our phones on our hands, it's just not gonna make any sense. You're not gonna want to hold your
mm.
phone up all the time. So AR glasses are gonna become essential to experience all of this.
Do you see how is 5G play into this? Is 5G fast enough to do a real-time AR experiment with or experience with a standalone headset, or do you think it needs to still get up to 6G?
I think 5G is enough. Like for social media right now, even though it doesn't look the best that it can, social media AR is focusing on making things compatible, like level of detail 3 or something, like even though it doesn't look the best, but it's going to be efficient. It's going to run on a lot of devices. It's not going to need to download all of the textures that makes it high quality. So I think 5G is enough. But once
Mm.
people are gonna want more photorealistic experiences, then yeah, probably like 6G, 7G. We're gonna need to download like all of these high quality models and yeah, everything. So
Okay. If for anybody that wants to kind of get into the field and make
mhm.
anything like you're making right now and just, these really cool high-end next gen effects, what would be some advice you would give them in order to get going?
Yeah, definitely. Start with social media AR. Like I said, all those apps have their own programs. They all come with ready to go templates if you just want to start playing with them. A bunch of tutorials, a bunch of help with them. Again, Instagram has Meta Spark. TikTok has Effect House. That's the name of their software. And then Snapchat has Lens Studio. They all come with templates. They all come with ready to go models and things for you to play around with. So that is the easiest way to get into it, and it's free. It's you sell your information to the social media applications, but it is free in that aspect. Once you want to level up, then you go to like Unreal Engine, you go into Unity. Yeah, and that gets a bit more complicated. But to start with, free. I mean, you just have to spend the time and sell your information to those companies. But social media AR is the best way.
Yeah. Okay. I love that. I love that. Yeah, because I know there's been a lot of people wondering how to get into that. So that's awesome. Who's been some of your favorite artists that you follow? Does any come to mind? Because I know for me, as of right now, you're probably one of the only artists I follow that's doing the level and quality that you're doing.
Oh, for AR?
Yeah.
Oh man. For AR, I actually don't know many that are also using the same thing. It's like mainly like AI people that create a bunch of like AI. There's this one artist called Doopy Doo.
Doopy Doo. I like it.
I like the name. I'll send it to you. But it's just like a bunch of mid-journey generated headwear, all sort of like crazy textures, super realistic materials. Yeah, that's one of like the main ones right now that I want to use to inspire my work in AR. What they make is like super realistic, but like the concepts that they come up with AI, they're crazy enough for me to like give it a try. So yeah, they're one of the main ones. But for AR, yeah, I don't see many using like Unity, for example, because as cool as it is, like Filta is also like pretty new and is getting to it. So come join us. Please show me how to do this.
Yeah. Awesome. That is pretty much all the questions I have. So I don't know if there was anything else you wanted to mention or anything else you had on your mind.
Just encourage people to get into AR. Like I mentioned, you can use those applications to get started with. The next level is to get into game engines, so you can do this kind of work. So again, there's going to be sometimes specific applications that they focus on something. Like this one is just for face tracking, and they do it the best. The company that I work for, another one is called Zero10. They focus on body tracking. If you're into digital fashion, into game skins, even everything about the body, that's more for the body. You want to go with them. You want to learn that. And what you want to learn is how to create game ready assets. It's not only going to work for Zero10, but just in general, game ready assets. It's not only for games now; it's for augmented reality experiences, for virtual reality experiences. So if you're an artist, somebody that wants to get into it, that's something that you're gonna have to learn. Really, you're gonna have to be really good at, or at least like identify what makes a good game ready asset. It's just a 3D model, an experience, something that you want to create that is ready to be run in real time. Because the gaming world is coming with the AR world, is gonna merge with this reality. So games are coming to this life, and that's an important term for you to learn. Game ready assets. That's all I have to say.
That's great. Do you have any projects coming up? Where can people find you?
Yeah, just the main work that we're doing with Zero10. Like, look at all the digital fashion things that we're launching. For myself, I'm learning more about this technology. I'm learning 8-wall, which is the one that I told you of, like Web AR. So Web AR is also another way to do augmented reality, but it runs on the browser. It does not depend on any application, Filta, Zero10, social media. It runs on all devices, Android, iOS. What we still have Blackberries. I don't even know. It's gonna run on your mobile browser. So making those experiences accessible to everyone else, that's what I'm working on right now. Because yeah, everyone needs to experience this. Like, this is the future. Like, we love this. So that's that's the next project, to learn those programs.
Amazing, man. Well, thank you so much for coming on. Hopefully see you at the next meetup.
Yes.
And we'll take care.
Thank you for having me, Michael.